Hey y'all, how are you doing today? I'm doing pretty good. This is Saturday, the last day of March, and tomorrow is Easter, as y'all know, and happy Easter. I just thought I'd try to do a little video today, and after all this time, I still can't get the hang of looking right there. And it's not that I want to see me, I just want to see what I'm doing and what I don't know. It's confusing to me, so just chalk it up to old age and I'll just do what I normally do. We'll see how that goes. But anyway, I'm very happy to be back, happy to see y'all. I want to thank everybody who watches, who comments, who subscribes. I just am so happy still with this. I enjoy it so much and so glad to be here and can share with y'all and a little bit of your life and a little bit of my life too. And so anyway, I will get started if I can I think what I'm going to do first is go ahead and finish showing you the things in the box that Carol sent. Yeah, there's still some more. I'm telling you, that girl, she filled up a box. Oh, so sweet. This is the cutest little purse, little bag. It reminds me of a child's Easter purse. You know, how we all got and our children got new Easter outfits, new shoes, new purse for the girls, And isn't this just the sweetest thing? I love it. We have a pink bedroom that's some of the old furniture, and I'm going to do something with this and put in there. It'll just go really, really well. Of course, the bag is full. I just can't get over what she did. But inside are, let me get them unwrapped here. These precious little birds. See? I love things like this, and as I probably told y'all before, I am not a minimalist in anything, I guess, because I like things that make me happy, and I like to have things sitting around from different places. We got quite a few things from different places, but I love little things like this too, and I do set them around. I've got some birds in different places, so these are so cute, so cute. And then this is lilac sweet pea candle. I don't know who. Simply Living. It's real pretty. It's real nice and real pretty. Then, let's see. Okay, here's two charts. JBW Designs Rose Motif Sampler. Isn't that pretty? And just what I like too, in reds. I think I've shown you the cherry and maybe the basket too, I'm not sure, but and then the ones that I've got framed that are older that I think I showed you all in red. Love it. This is Country Cottage Needlework Sunflower Sampler. I think this is so cute. So cute. Springy. happy. Isn't that neat? And she put some other things in this cute little bag. I think that's so sweet. I don't throw things like this away either. I just think it's so sweet to, you know, put something in it. Put something in for somebody else, you know, stuff like that. And inside of that is this, it says Planner Creative You Planner Accessory. That's neat. Not too sure. It obviously hooks on something. I'm not quite too sure what planner accessories are, because I do like to kind of do things like that, but I never can find them again after I start writing in them, and I write some, and I guess that's what that means anyway. Afraid I'm a little behind on that. I had little booklets when we lived overseas, and I'd write a few years and then stop. So, not too good at keeping up with it, but that is really neat, and I will. It's very interesting. I'm going to see. I will use that some way to help me remember something. I love it, the pineapple on there. It's real pretty. And then she sent these 3 little needlework hearts. There's 3 of them, and they're real cute. I think those would be really nice to put on pillows, you know, like the ones that that we cross stitch on and make them to fit this on. And it might even be good to put on the back if you to cover stitches, like where you put the pillow together or something. Anyway, I'll find a nice place to put those too. And then, oh, here's another little, look at this little case. Isn't that cute? And, see if I can, there. I know it opens some way. Well, look what's inside. Scissors match the case, and then this holds little tiny bobbins of thread in here, seam ripper, more needles, and a pair of tweezers. Isn't that nice? A pretty little case. I think that's so cute. Next thing is called, it's by Art Ben, and it's called Sew, S-E-W, Solutions. This was real neat. Slim line. And this is stuck to the bottom. It's a magnetic. I think that's real handy. That is neat. Y'all probably know about these things already. I like that. Now I can figure out everything after I get all this undone. Alright, the next thing is this little container of threads. All kinds of neat colors. Doesn't matter what color anything is, we can all use them, can't we? That's neat. And I like this little thing she put them in too. I don't know I like that. Another thing she got is a very old friend of mine too, that I started using a long time ago in a jar that was called Utterbalm. I think this is going to work better. I mean, for what I want it for, because I'm, not milking cows, which I never did and didn't want to, but I still use the cream. So this is great. Everything. I mean, it's just so also, how do you think about all this stuff? I'm telling you, I don't have such a good thinker anymore, I guess. Now I don't know if I showed you this little purse. I may have the first time, but look at here. Isn't that cute? There's a compartment in there and a little wrist deal, hanger, band. Isn't that cute? Okay, this is something too. These little things here that I'm fixing to show you were in this cute little bag. Now it's not pink. It's well, actually it is. I didn't know that before. I thought it was burlap, and it may be burlap. It looks kind of like it, but then after I look at it, and I did not know it was pink. See, the top part is a natural color, and then the bottom part is pink. Isn't that cute? I made a little bag out of it and put the ribbons so you can draw it together. And then she put this stick pin on the front of it. Isn't that cute? Does anybody remember wearing stick pins? I wonder. Of course I do. I like that. And you can do anything with them too. You don't have to wear them, but they do have the thing to hold it on, on the bottom here. I'm not doing so good today. Well, inside of that are all these little charms. See? I know that's still enough. An umbrella. And it does have black on the silver. See? This one. Self-explanatory. How cute. Let's see what this one is. Oh, this is a love letter. Isn't that cute? Can you see the love on there? There you go. The red envelope. How cute. And then a dancing slipper. Or a high heel to go dancing. Cute. And a little gem on there, on the front of the, oh my goodness. That's just all so sweet. I think I showed you this last time, but I'm going to show it again. It says this and that. And you see how big it is. Plenty of places to, and I should, but I know I won't do it like everybody else does. I'm not good at doing this. And, time is very limited too, and I don't mean to, it's just hard to do sometimes. So when I can. I need to start writing down more things that I've started and finished, but and none of them are still, well, a few of them are fully finished, but that's because I didn't have to do anything to them but take them to the framer. There's so many things I want to finish at home that I know I can if I can get the time to really sit down and do it and concentrate on it. I got some more, and Carol, thank you again. I just can't thank you enough for everything that you sent, and it will all be used and appreciated, and I just am so thankful. Way too much, but I do thank you. It's very sweet, very thoughtful and kind. I just, oh my goodness. I got a little happy mail thank you that is totally not necessary and unexpected, but this is from Cindy, so y'all know how just positively sweet and generous and always up to date with doing things, and she didn't have to, but I'm so glad she did because I love her work and it's so pretty. It's just gorgeous. I'm going to try to hold it real still. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at those tiny stitches, I'm telling you. And then the back, she does beautiful work. And I love this chenille that so many, and especially her, that she uses around it. And I'm going to try to find some of that. She told me where she got it, so I'm going to call them and see if they will take my credit card, you know. But isn't that pretty? That was so sweet. Just so sweet, and such a nice, sweet card, too. She's looking forward to getting in her garden. As y'all know, she does a beautiful job with the garden. And then I got I got an Easter card from Nicole, Buckeye Stitcher. A sweet friend, a sweet lady, wonderful stitcher. She is so thoughtful. She treats me like a grandma, which is so sweet. Like that. She sent this, which I thought was so nice. See, it's wood. And this is real clever, you know, to have the grooves. I love things like that anyway, since I'm a past crafter. I love that. And it hangs with a piece of jute, which I like too. And I put this right away. I put this in our bedroom on the other side of Papa's hospital bed. Pops. And there's a dresser with a hutch, and it has a drawer with a knob up there. So I hung that up there, so whenever he's looking that way, he can see it too, and then I can see it from my bed too. I thought that was so nice. And of course she sent candy, which I'm afraid I have no resistance, especially to chocolate. But I had to get out. I have to tell you this because it's funny. It's not any fault of anybody but myself, and it was fine. It didn't hurt him. So, you know, I'm going to talk about Wizard, and he's right down here beside me. I opened it on my little couch back there in the bedroom, and I was looking at the candy, and I had to go see about Pop real quick. There was a noise, and I don't let noises go by when it's like that. You never know what's going on. So I got up, and I'm going to say I got up and ran, but you know, I don't run. So to me it was running, but it was like dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. But anyway, Wizard didn't follow me all the way out Well, he did, and then he went back when he saw what I was doing, because he remembered that candy was in there. And I got back to him as soon as I could, and he had taken just a little bit, a little tiny piece that was wrapped, a chicken, and um, he took it in the living room, and boy, he was, as fast as he could, he was trying to get that paper off of there and get a bite of it real quick before Mama came and got him. He didn't get very much of it. It didn't make him sick. So I didn't let the rest of it sit around too long, especially not where he could get it. But it was funny just watching him. He is such a scamp. He's just funny. And I better hurry up because it's 20 minutes. Anyway, Nicole sent this gorgeous card. I know she sent it to some others. I saw them show it, and it is beautiful. I love painting anyway, and I wish I could do this. My aunt told me I could if I had time to spend doing it, but I didn't, so I did other things in place of it, and it's just beautiful. But I was watching Vintage Stitcher last night, Elizabeth Andrus, and she showed this card too. And she was telling a story about Easter with her family, and her brother and family. And if you haven't seen it, you need to. It is the cutest little story. But I got one too, and hers was on Easter, but mine wasn't. But this is a story about a little bunny rabbit. You know, we're in the country, and back at this time I'm talking about, we were a lot more country. There wasn't very many people around us at all, and the ones that were down the road one way or the other were family. But this goes back to the clothesline days, excuse me. But it was spring, and of course I was out hanging up clothes, and I heard, you know, after all the snakes and everything, I kept hearing this crunch, 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 crunch running. And I knew it wasn't out by the barn. It was towards the house. So I kept turning around and looking, and it sounded like it was coming from the back through the woods and along the side of our house. And I finally saw it. And it was the tiniest little rabbit. It was just so tiny, but it made so much noise in all those leaves and things, you know, so, because it was early spring, and we have a lot of leaves that fall in the winter and in the spring and all that. But I kept watching it, and I just stood there, and I wanted to go in the house to get the camera so bad, but I knew I couldn't. It would never know what it would do. And I just wanted, it would leave, of course. It wouldn't do anything to me, but I wanted to see it and see what it did. And it just kept hopping up alongside the house. And when it got to the corner of the house, which was fairly close to me, where I could really see out there real good, it turned and came down the front of the house, away from me, just along the house, just along the brick, got to the front door, hopped up on the front door, on the front porch rather, went to the front door and got up on the threshold and just kept looking at the door like, you better open this door. It was just so cute. This tiny little baby rabbit went directly to my front door. And he wanted in. I watched him for a while, and I couldn't get in the house anywhere because that was the only door on the front, and there was no back door then, but there was, if you went around the house again and all the way down to the other side, you could come in through the garage. It was so cute. It was just the cutest thing in the world to see that little rabbit like that. I wish I had a picture, but but I don't. But anyway, so um, I do have some finishes, but not fully finished, and I'm not going to show them right now. I'm kind of scattered with some of this today, but I'm going to try to get the rest of it in. Uh, First of all, y'all know, or I think you do anyway, that we lived in Saudi Arabia for quite a number of years, and I did a lot of crafts over there, and I did a lot of uh, I did yeah, okay, um, florist work. I did this all from my house, um, wherever we lived, the different houses, and it was just uh, it was like a big craft show. Only I was the only one doing it, so I did just about anything that anybody wanted because there weren't very many people doing this, and there weren't any businesses around. So um, I really enjoyed it. People would ask me to come and help them decorate, help them figure out what to do with their house. I used a lot of florals that they wanted. I took over and had a nice big supply of artificial and dried floral supplies, as well as baskets and um, florals, greenery, anything. I just took boxes and boxes of stuff over to do that. So they, of course, want help figuring out what to do and where to put it and how to put that in with the things they had, and just um, I I didn't actually tell them this is what you have to do or anything, but I just showed them how to use the things they had with the florals or with some other, and a lot of people cross-stitched and quilted and things, but just to show them what they could do and help them hang it, help show them how to hang things that made it more appealing or went with their house, or and these people have traveled all over the world too, so they had a lot of collections and a lot of things from paintings, pictures, objects, um, soft goods from all over the world. And it was something I enjoy doing. I seem to have a natural, I've always been artistic, I've always been crafty, and I seem to have a natural inclination to it. But I did study some too, not formally, but not in a class. Except when I was in school. But anyway, I had a lot of fun doing it and got to know some people I didn't know, which was good too. And they would ask me to come to their house and bring things, and then they would come to my shop too in our house and look over some stuff and pick out some containers and just kind of give me an idea what they liked and what they were looking for. So it also involved at that time making t-shirt dresses. Do y'all remember when those were? They might have been more popular over there than here because they were loose and a little bit longer, and that was better for us when we went into town. And we had art groups, and so there was a lot involved with it, but I enjoyed it so much. And this is one of the things that I did from that time. This, of course, is an elephant. Okay, Lana, get it back together. Camel? And it's made out of felt. And as you can imagine, in a place like that where there's 10,000,000,1,502 camels, everybody tried their hand at drawing, stitching, doing something camel-wise, and they aren't just one color either. They are different colors. This is what you kind of would call a camel color, but we saw them in white, we saw them in black, we saw them all colors in between. It's just amazing. But this was my take on a camel, kind of dressed for a caravan. The little camel bags, and just with the gold trim and the little balls and the what are those things called again? Anyway, all of it's handmade except for the gold braid and the balls. But all of these, anything like that, it's all handmade. I cut them all out and stitched them by hand with a blanket stitch. See? And I decorated them different ways. I like this one because it shows the bags. And of course, in real life, the bags are woven, not only woven, but they're hand knotted like the rugs. So they've got a lot of very intricate designs, which I did not do. That would have been way, way too pricey if I'd taken that much time, because everything else is handmade, completely done by hand. So anyway, those were ornaments for how we always put camel stuff on our trees. This is just another little one that's not quite as decorated, but they had different times of being real decorated and not. And this is another color of some of them too. So anyway, I like to do these. They were so much fun to cut out, and just, like I said before, I could just set them in my lap and stitch away, and I really enjoyed that. Okay, now I wanted to show you this, but I cannot find the stitched piece, and it makes me angry with myself, because I put it down where I could find it, and guess what? Can't find it, which is typical of me. This is Prairie Schooler, of course, and I know y'all love it too. Book 13. And this is an old book. I got this a long, long, long time ago. But see, this rabbit, I think it's so cute. And I did finish the stitching on it, but I never did get to do anything with it. So I just wanted to show you that I did do that, but you don't know it because you can't see the real thing. But it's cute. And then I started the basket down here. I'm about halfway through with that, but it's really pretty too. I just love all these. Then you remember, or you might not remember, but back a little while ago, I ordered some things from Reflection. You remember I told you that, and I have ordered a few things that are still, excuse me, that are not here yet when she came back from market. But I can't figure out why I didn't show you this, because it's a huge thing for me to get. And I still can't believe I actually did it, and I kept talking myself out of it, and I thought, no, go ahead and do it. If you don't go ahead and get it, likely I'm not going to get it finished anyway, but at least I want to start on it. You never know. But this is Autumn at Hawk Run Hollow. I know y'all can't believe I did this, can you? And did this one, but I like I like this one pretty good. They're all so pretty, but I haven't seen too many do this one, and I just, it just kind of hit me that this one, there's a pig on it too. Oh, maybe that's it. And the farm and stuff. But autumn, I love autumn anyway. But can you believe I did that? And look at all those pages. Ooh, man. I really have high hopes, don't I? And I want to show you this, because this is the pattern in the book that this is out of. And I know it was sitting here last time, and I never got to talk about it, so I'm going to now. But this is the book that it's in. Sunflowers, 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 sunflowers. Everything, the whole book. It's not just a chart or two, but everything. Oh, there's so many things in this book. By Linda Gillum. I think this is around the 90s, the late 80s, 90s. Look at all this in the back too. This reminds me of Cindy. Cindy's Stitches. Never can remember if it's Stitches or Stitcher, but you know what I mean. Just such a sweet lady. So here is the picture that I did a long time ago from that book. See if I can do it without too much glare. Isn't that pretty? I love that picture, and the shading, the bird, everything about it. I just think it's so pretty. And I had it framed right after I finished it, so it's been hanging in my sewing room for a long, long time, in different places in the house, but I like it in there. The frame, I wasn't sure. I wouldn't have probably done this until after. It wasn't what I was thinking of. And then when I got there, and the lady that helped me pick out the frame, I really am glad we did, because look at the center. It just kind of makes that pop along with everything else. But anyway, I thought that was real pretty, and I wanted to show that to you because I found the book. So many times I want to show you something and I can't find the book, which actually is what these two are about. I found these two also when I was looking for something else. I did these, and the reason I wanted to show them to you is because, I told you a long time ago, I'm not real familiar with linen, and I don't like to stitch it. Well, duh. I did it one time back in the 80s, because that's what this is stitched on. I can't believe it. But we were living on the Red Sea side of Saudi Arabia, and of course the shells and the Red Sea, it's gorgeous there, but just absolutely gorgeous. So, we had shells all over in different places, and we were able to get some. People gave us some too, and so I did some cross-stitch pictures with them. But I thought, I've got to show people this, because I've said about the linen. And here I've done these two. Now this one is not good in the frame, because when, and I'll have to tell you this story another time, but I'll tell you why it's kind of funny like this. Like I said, we lived in Saudi Arabia. But when I did these was long before the evacuation, when Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait, and we were living on the other side at that time, and but I had all these with us, of course, So the women were evacuated if they wanted to go, and so everybody was deciding what they were going to take home with them and in their pack and in their luggage, and I decided to take these out of the frame and bring them home. I mean, it's not something that's, you know what I mean. I mean, there's so many other things. Um, my husband was still there, so it'd been nice to bring him, but he couldn't go. But we just got a big laugh later about how many things we all took that didn't really mean a hill of beans, but it's something we liked and wanted to have with us. So anyway, I'll tell you all about that another time. But I still like them. I mean, I still think it's nicely done. I still think it looks pretty good. But the reason this is so funny in the frame is because that's why I just took it out and never did do anything with it after that. I did have it when we got back home and lived. I did have it in the bathroom that I decorated with the shelves and stuff a few times, but it's kind of fallen apart since then. Well, I was going to see if Wizard wanted to come up here for a few minutes, but he's gone and left me again. When we decided to go to Saudi Arabia, or knew that we wanted to go, and we were trying to go. Excuse me, just a minute. I won't go into all of that. It doesn't matter. But we finally were able to go in March of 1982, and two of our children, our youngest son and our oldest daughter, were married. Our oldest son had just come back from his time in the Air Force, and he was working and trying to go to school. And our youngest daughter was in the 7th grade, so she could go with us. Of course, she went with us and lived over there with us for when she finished 9th grade, all the kids that age, expat kids, had to come back to either to their home country or a boarding school. And we knew a lot of people over there from years back, a lot of them from our home area, because a lot of them were Chevron employees. We at the time were not Chevron. We were with the government. We were with the same oil company. It was just not with an oil, like Chevron or something like that. It was with the Arabian American Oil Company. And what was I going to say? Anyway, we had. I won't go into her coming back because we had all those years, with her over there. But it was very different. We enjoyed our time. My husband worked so much. So he got to go places too, but for the first few years, we got to go more. We had, and one of the biggest expeditions, I guess, that would be maybe interesting to y'all is our shopping. And so, as I said, we lived on the Red Sea side near the port city of the old port city, the start of the caravan trail, in a place called Yanbu. And the oil companies were building a huge town, city, metropolis, just right out of the desert. I mean, there was nothing but desert, and 1 2 or 3 story building that had been built just recently, previous to us going, for the bachelors to live in. They had been living on a barge in the Red Sea for a long time. So they were happy to have a place on land to go to. But it looked so funny when we first got there, because our first experience when we landed in Yanbu, we had already been to the camp on the other side of the country, but since we were working in Yanbu, they had to fly us over there, which our company had its own planes. We had 737. They had multiple smaller planes, helicopters and things to go out to the different remote sites and everything, but we had use of the 737s. Can you imagine going to buy groceries? 737. It was just so exciting to me. I just couldn't get over it, and um, I'm going to go round and about, I know, and I'm sorry, but that's kind of the way I tell a story sometimes, but it would take too long if I just go in order of things, but um, when we had to wait a little while till we got our official papers and our permission papers to go on the plane to go other places in the country, even though we were going to another Aramco compound, which was the main compound for the company, but it was on the Gulf side. But when I first got to go get groceries, oh my goodness. Well, my husband got to go with me that first time, and I was so glad he did too, because we had been just getting food wherever we could. Just the least little place, you'd never know what kind of thing and food line that you would find there. But of course, everybody on our little trailer park area was always real good. We always, when other people came in, all of us did the same thing too. Somebody had been chosen to get groceries for a few days, and then of course everybody just pitched in then. But the first time we got to go grocery shopping, getting on that plane and going to do that, and then coming home, it was exciting. We got to spend the weekend. It was exciting, as I just keep saying, but it was funny too. Now, the first thing you learn when you get there is that you always have to have one of these great big carry bags, not an airplane carry bag, but oh gosh, grocery bag or something. Anyway, you get some kind of a bag, but it had to be big, because you had to have your smaller purse inside of it, but you also had to carry a roll of masking tape, your marker. You had to have a marker. What else was that? The boxes we got at the commissary. Of course, your money. Anyway, we went to the commissary then, and we had to push the buggy from one place in camp to the commissary. If we found one over there, we'd push it there. If not, then we'd hope we find one in the commissary or around it, and then we bought groceries. And then when you check out, you ask them for boxes, and they have these, whatever boxes they emptied, but you wanted certain sizes because you had to handle them full of groceries. We make a long story short, you have to, when you pack your groceries in the boxes, of course non-perishable, you need that's the other thing, an ice chest. Had to have an ice chest too. So we pack our boxes, tape them up with the marker. We put our name, our trailer number, our ID number, all sorts of stuff on it. And then we, you know, load them up. Well, this particular time we were able to take them back to our room because there's a place on camp for people like us that are out away from main camp and don't have a place to stay, like a little guest house, you know. So we could take all of our stuff there and leave it. Um, if you were only there for the day, there was another guest house for the day people, where you did the same thing. But you had to have all of it ready. So when it was time to leave, to go back to the plane and go back to the other side of the country, um, you had to load all your boxes and your ice chest and all this stuff onto the bus. Now he was there that time, so you know that was a big, big help. He had 45 boxes of groceries. Needless to say, we went crazy in that commissary. And it didn't matter if it was a brand we were used to or not. We just, you know, did the worst thing. We knew what we needed to have, but we did the worst kind of shopping too because we hadn't seen all of this for so long. And only what we did see were in other people's trailers, you know, and what they shared with us, because you learn quickly that when you stocked your groceries, you had to have extra, and sometimes a lot of extra, because you didn't know when you were going to be back. You needed to help somebody else, and you needed to pay them back for what they'd already loaned you. And it was hilarious, but it was a job. And then when we got back, when we got to the plane, then we had to put it on these big conveyor belts, or these big pull trailer things, you know, and off the bus onto that. And they took them in, and what did they do with them? Well, they took them on something else out to the plane. But we had to, you know, handle them again there. But they took them out to the plane. It was time to load up. We walked out to the plane, got on the plane. 2-hour flight over there and 2-hour back. When we got to Yanbu Airport, then we had to unload. They brought it up to the little the airport place, and they got it off the plane and on a transport thing, but we had to take them off the belt, or take them off the box, or wherever they put them. You know, we had to take them off that and put them in a cart and take it out to the bus that we were going to take back to our trailer site. There were 100 trailers on 5 acres out in the middle of the desert, and other companies had these little set-up places for their employees too. But the bus then would, you know, we'd load up and get on the bus, and they'd go back to the trailer site and go around to each trailer that was representative, and wherever people lived in the trailer park. And so you'd unload and take it in the house, and by that time nobody wanted to unload, of course. After you got it in the house, we'll do it another day. And sometimes your neighbor would have a snack or something ready for you, and say, come over in a few minutes, we got coffee, tea, whatever, you know, and that was a lot of fun. But it was a really interesting, exciting, learning time. And for me, personally, it was a vacation, a 9-year vacation. but especially in the beginning like that where we were, because we were one of the few that came in directly from the States. A lot of these people were working at that place that time because they had been working on the other side of the country, the Gulf side, um, for another on another Ramco compound for refineries over there, because they have refineries everywhere. And they were used to having a little bit more freedom on that side. They lived on a compound. They could drive on the compound, nowhere else, but they could drive on the compound. They didn't have to worry as much about what they wore, um, and I knew all of that because of our friends that lived over there, and that's where we were supposed to go in the beginning. And then our assignment was changed on the way over, which did not bother me a bit. I thought it was very exciting. I got to see the real country, the real people, um, get to know them in their own situation and surroundings, and just met some of the most wonderful people of all nationalities, um, and saw so much. It was very exciting to me. And some of the women on our little trailer park, we had a weekly meeting, um, and our camp director, he was called at the time. It was for the startup of the trailer park. He wasn't there all the time after that, but he was there for a short time. But anyway, he had a weekly meeting to bring people up to date on when that road was going to be closed and where the new one was going to be, and where to catch a bus, where to find a bus. Um, I know this probably sounds so ridiculous to y'all, or out of, and I may not be telling it right either, but I would love to be able for you to see some of it through my story, like I saw it and lived it. And I'll try to tell you as much as possible without completely confusing you or boring you. But you just can't imagine. You are in this trailer compound, trailer park area, and there's all this desert around, and there's new construction every day. The road is just just a kind of halfway um, pushed off road. It's not a main road, and it changes daily. So you didn't know if you took the little coaster bus, and they're these little coaster buses is what they're called, but they were our transportation. And so when it came around the trailer camp, if you wanted to go into the another section, then you got on that bus, and they would attempt to take you over there. You never knew where they were going or what way they were going, because they might move the road from the time that they were driving over from the other side of the road, the other side of the whole area they were building. So you never knew. And of course, when hubby came home at night, he didn't know where the road was either, unless somebody had been home for lunch and said, "Hey, the road's moved." So it was funny. It was just hilarious. And I'll tell you what, people that didn't have a sense of humor had a hard time over there, because it's funny. It can be very irritating and maddening to people who are so set on the way we live here, that don't have an open mind about some things. And a lot of the people that came that did not last very long were the ones who could not handle it at all. It's a country of contradictions. Um, it's a very interesting country, a lot of history. But some of the women that had lived on the proper Aramco compounds had a really hard time where we lived. And they asked me after I'd been there just a very short time, because they um, I could go with them on the shopping bus into the old city, which I was so glad to be able to do. It was just so neat. And it was still very much the old city. There were some new parts, but it was still very much the old city, which was so exciting. The architecture, I just loved. I just, oh, I thought that was so interesting. And to see the screens, and they're called mashrabiyah, the screens, wooden, ornately carved wooden screens that are out so far over the windows in the top parts of the places. And those are where the women can sit and get air and see people, but they can't be seen, so that's like their porch, but it's covered with this so they can sit there and watch and get some air, but they can't be seen. They're gorgeous. Um, I was trying to think of, oh, I wish I could think of her name now. I'm so sorry. She does a beautiful designing of Arabic designs. Y'all know who I mean, but I cannot. Oh, I wish I could not. I wish I would not do things like that, but I do, and I can't help it. But anyway, I'll try to think of it. But anyway, so we went in. They took me in the first time, and they were just they were wanting to surprise me, and they wanted certain reactions from me about what they were going to show me. But they didn't know much about me right then, so they took me all over the little old town of Yanbu, and they knew where some shopping places were. And they took me to the open air vegetable souk, and a souk is a store or an area to shop at. And it was open air, of course, and it was hot even in the wintertime. So you weren't getting the very freshest, prettiest fruits and vegetables, but it was okay. So we did that, and they kept watching my reaction to all of this stuff. They thought I was going to be so just shocked and appalled. So they took me down this one street where the meat market was, and sitting out on the pavement, which of course was not clean, but sitting out on the pavement up against the walls of this meat market were all of these heads, cleaned heads. And for a minute they looked like pigs' heads. And I knew they wouldn't be pig because they don't allow pig, they don't allow pork. But they do eat a lot of goats. There might be some sheep, but I think it's mostly goats and camel, and all that stuff. So that's what it was. They were all cleaned and ready because the locals and other people too, but they would buy those and cook them, roast them, and then they fixed this rice dish, and this was all called a kapsa. And this rice dish is beautiful and tastes so good. It's a certain type of rice from that part of the world. It has pine nuts, sultana raisins, caramelized onion, and some other spices. Not any saffron or anything like that, but some other spices and seasonings and things. And it was cooked, and when my husband was over there the first time back in the 60s, they served it on a great big garbage can lid. And then the goat head in the middle still had his eyes in it too. And if you went to a kapsa at somebody's house and you were um, the guest of honor, they said you were supposed to eat the eyes. Um, we did have dinner one day at some Arab friends, Muslim friends that he worked with my husband, but he did not do that. I mean, we had a kapsa and it was wonderful, but he didn't do that, make us do that. And we really enjoyed it, and it was really nice to do that and see, be guests in their home. And we had some in ours too, and we enjoyed that, getting to know them like that. And I loved a lot of the food. Oh, food was so good. That cups of rice was something else. But most of the places that we did go for, when we had kapsas at different places, they did chicken, and that was really good. And it was still done on a big round tray this time, not the garbage can lids, but a big silver tray, and they were huge. Um, so anyway, getting back to being in that town that day, this is what I do. I kind of go off on, they're called rabbit trails, as you know other people talk about. Well, I can get really hung up in those burrows. But anyway, we did end up, on the last stop, we went to a bakery. And and of course the pita bread over there is just, oh my gosh, I love pita bread, but especially that. It was great big pieces. Great big, like pizza dough when you just, the round. Wonderful pita bread. And this bakery was, you walk in the front door, there's not much in there. There's a bench over here, maybe a bench over there. There's a huge ovens in front of you, and the men are there making the pita bread, and then they put it on they're flopping it around and all that stuff and forming it, and then they put it on the wooden paddles and put it in the oven, and when it's ready they pick it back out of the oven with the paddle and throw it on the floor. And I was a little surprised at that, but I mean, there was already bread on the floor, so I knew it came from somewhere. But of course, they were looking at me for this reaction. And I told them what I wanted, and hey, pick it up off the floor and eat it. But they did. I got so many pieces of it. It's what you get 3 or 5 in a stack, and they put it in a plastic bag for you. It was good. It was so good. And I tell you what, we were all so hungry and so hot, and they have cold drinks just about anywhere you go. Pepsi, not Coke. Back then it was Pepsi. So we all, when we started to get back in the bus, we got our cold drink, and I'd gotten a little container of some kind of a dip. I don't remember what it was, and I wasn't familiar with it, but I thought, hey, let's try this. So when we got on the bus, I opened the drink and tore off some pita bread and opened that and started eating that. I was so hungry and so thirsty, and it was almost noon prayer time too. So that's you have to shop while you can in the morning, and then they close at prayer time and don't open till later a few hours later. Sometimes they open right after, but they want to eat too, of course. So sometimes they're closed for a couple of hours. So we all rode back to camp on the bus and talked about our purchases and where we were. But this one lady, she said, after a little while, she said, none of this seems to bother you. She says, don't you miss being able to just get in the car and go and do what you want to and all of that? And I said, well, I'll tell you what. Let me tell you about one of my days on the farm. So I proceeded to tell him how everything could go on a day with school, my husband's work, the farm. I took in sewing. I did craft shows. It just let me tell you about my day. This is a vacation. I am happy not to have to take that truck and go up to the next town up to the Tractor Supply and pick up uh, whatever is broken and get it back to them and go take food, water, cook for whoever is working with us or for us that day. Um, Take somebody to the doctor. I said, this is a vacation and I am enjoying every minute of it. They just couldn't get over that because that was not what they did back in the States. But they got another view too of somebody else's daily life, and sometimes it made them kind of think a little bit. Now I miss my family. We only had the baby girl with us, and I miss my family so much. But we did it, and we enjoyed it. And there's many more stories I'll tell you about. And I can't believe I'm over an hour. So I am just absolutely thrilled, and I better not push my luck anymore, had I? But thank you so much, y'all, for all your stitchy love to me, and I just am so grateful and thank you. I just love y'all, and I enjoy this so much. I know you're here for cross stitch, but I talked too much time today, I guess. But I can't believe it. It's over an hour. I don't think it's cut me off anyway. So anyway, I hope you enjoy this, and I hope you come back, and we'll see how much longer. I hope it'll be not too far off that I can come back and do this again. Love y'all. Have a good stitchy week. Have a very happy Easter, and God bless you.